Hey everyone, this is a response to my first video, which was titled AI Imaginary Project Part 1. In that video, I basically talked about how human intelligence is what has set us apart from other species in the animal kingdom, and that's allowed us, to evolve and get to the point that we're at. I also talked about how AI is designed to replicate human thinking and extend our abilities. And then I also talked about the hoarding of resources and how, AI is powered by a few technocrats, and that can be concerning just due to the fact that just only a few people have power over this, and things can get distorted. And then I also talked about some of the concerns with AI, how it basically uses a lot of our resources like water, and it can also create job loss. So one of the defining traits, again, has always been our intelligence and our ability to critically think and think abstract. But today that's no longer the case. AI challenges how we define communication, power, and what makes us unique as species. But as we have found that AI is really tied closely to human values and culture, and that's basically what we are feeding it, it's obviously going to become that. A lot of scholars call this imaginaries, which is shared visions of what AI is and what it does and what it might become. The first imaginary is AI as a mirror, and one of the scholars, Shannon Valor, describes AI as a mirror made of code, and she says that it reflects our values and biases of its creators. And also David Gunkel makes a similar point, which, kind of reinforces the same theme, that AI is basically just like a mirror to ourselves as humanity. And also the mythos of Narcissus was brought up, and how at first Narcissus mistook his reflection as another being, but essentially he understood that that reflection was himself. And so we're kind of in the midst of repeating that same cycle. So one of the examples that AI is basically us in computer form is the chatbot Tay. In 2016, it started making racist and misogynistic remarks, and it absorbed this from its users. Also, this happened again with Air Canada's chatbot, which actually resulted in a lawsuit. And basically, the point that they wanted to make is that AI is not thinking independently. It's just kind of regurgitating all the information that we have given it. And so that can be concerning, because it makes us really take a look at ourselves under a microscope and really analyze our beliefs. And because of this, it can mirror misogyny, racism, misinformation, and it can actually cause more harm than good. Yeah, so Valor also brings up a point that it's not so much about the machines enslaving us, but it's the erosion of human moral confidence. If we start believing that the machines are smarter or more rational than us, we risk shrinking our own sense of worth. And so I did actually mention that how during the COVID-19, a lot of misinformation was being spewed and amplified by the algorithms, and this was causing more polarization within political parties, as well as mistrust within society, and that the threat was basically just kind of like a reflection of like what we were putting into, again, the algorithm ourselves. So we just have to really be cognizant of like our weaknesses as a collective, and be aware of like what are the things that we have to address within ourselves, because AI will be, again, mirroring everything that we give it. The third imaginary is more hopeful. So AI as a partner or bridge. So this viewpoint is kind of empowering human beings by letting them know that AI isn't going to replace us. It's just going to make us better. It's going to extend us. It's going to make things more efficient, and it's going to give us the ability to put our imagination into like the physical realm in like easier manner that doesn't take, I guess, that much energy. So yeah, so those are some of the things, but I did want to bring up a quote from Valor, and they say it reminds us technology is never neutral. If AI is driven by profit and exploitation, its potential as a bridge is compromised. So the question is not, can AI partner with us, but can we govern it towards human ends? So again, we really have to have like a conversation with ourselves, with our, local governments, and as a country altogether. So across these three imaginaries, which is mirror, threat, and bridge, AI is less about machines thinking on their own and more about the stories we tell them. Valor warns that mirrors force us to face who we already are. And Agunkul also reminds us that interpretations of AI says more about humans and machines. Whether we look at AI as a danger, reflection, or companion, that really shapes how societies are going to respond, regulate, and imagine the future. That's why the future of AI isn't just technical, it's communicative. It's, the stories that we're going to tell it. Do we see the mirror of our flaws? Do we see the new possibilities of the new world that we can build? And that all goes down to our imagination and also being in touch with our moral compass. And I feel like, again, it goes to defining like what do we deem as ethical, and kind of reminding ourselves of like the moral principles that makes a human being a human. So yeah, I feel like we need to get more in touch with our humanity and our individuality and what sets us apart, and then also think about what makes us similar, because I feel like we are kind of stuck on the what sets us apart and individualistic society. And then we can also use, AI to solve some issues that, we're facing. But I feel like we won't be able to progress or expand unless we do that ourselves. And that's like within, just because AI is essentially just reflecting everything back to us. So we can get stuck in a perpetual loop of like echoes. And it can be easy to lose like the central theme of what is the point of being a human being in this world. What is that? And so we have to ask ourselves that question. Yeah, so that's all I got for you. Thanks.